Hello, and welcome to 2K Fantasy Premier League podcast. I'm your host, Chris the K, and it's a Sunday night. It's Easter Sunday, in fact. Easter Sunday, usual slot. Me and Kev, we haven't podded for, is it 3 weeks? It probably is 3 weeks. It's been a bit of an international break. It's been a while. We haven't even talked about game week 31. We are looking ahead to game week 32. It's chip season, as they say. And we don't mean the crisp version. We mean it's time for wildcards, free hits, bench boost, triple captains. That's all we're going to talk about. Double game weeks, blank game weeks. It's all very exciting stuff. Hopefully, people haven't switched off from FPL because Kev, you were saying your brother's like, it's been too long a break. I'm not going to bother logging back in now.
Yeah, I think the break was a bit long, and myself even just a few days ago, I was like, "Fuck, I don't even really want to go look at this stuff." I don't know. It just felt like the season ended almost. Like I don't have that same urge to jump back in. And honestly, I think our teams are all going to look fucking identical now. I mean, we're all about to make a very similar wild card, aren't we? Like, who are your three City? Exactly the same as mine for the rest of the season. Like, that's going to be the fucking game now.
What I would say is I think because of the Arsenal result yesterday, which we can talk about if you want, or if you want to see me cry.
Arteta in.
I do think it's opened up a few more avenues. I was saying I've messed up because I started just messing about last night. Just went for it. And I was like, actually, in hindsight, I looked this morning. I was like, you know what? I could have waited because, and I certainly could have done, particularly with the results today, because I had Tarkowski who actually plays in 34. I think I could have done a couple of transfers and actually played a decent team in 32, played a decent team in 34, and wildcarded 35. So I think a few people do that. Which is anyway, we can get onto that. So we should briefly touch on game week 31, mostly because I had a decent game week. So I got 70 points.
You had a huge.
I can't remember how. Let's have a look what happened.
I think you got Gordon. Your Gordon played off. You were top of our league. You jumped me too, man. Like, you're flying right now.
Yeah, it was Gordon. It was the Gordon move because I was tossing it because I can't remember what the dilemma was, and I think you'd said I wouldn't go Gordon.
No,
so this isn't me having a go at you, but the reason why I went to him in the end, I didn't like the other options.
Yeah, fair enough. There was a Champions League game where both Vissa and Voltamati didn't even play a minute. That's why I was a little like, I feel like Gordon,
I remember that now.
They were both fit on the bench. I'm like, that's not great for
That's exactly it. So that was a good point. So I read up on that, and he'd come off a little bit earlier, and there was lots of forms going. He's definitely going to start. He's definitely going to start. He's definitely going to start. I was like, okay, that's enough.
Okay,
that was your point. But I think you read somewhere he might not start because of that. I remember it now. Anyway, so I was on points, which was quite nice.
You had very similar team to me here, man. I mean, honestly,
which just goes to show how close these things are, right? How can it sort of toss the coin in terms of?
Well, I fucking went. What bothered me was I was torn on selling, so I had Holland, Semenyo, and Rice. I was definitely going to sell one of them to bring in Harry Wilson, which was a great move. And that was a lock. And then I had Tarkowski. And if he was like, oh yeah, because if you remember, he was injured and we weren't sure if he was going to play or not. And I was like, in the presser, if he says, oh yeah, he's fine, I'm done. I'd rather have the extra free transfer for now after the wild card. And the presser was like, we'll see tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, I have to basically sell a player now. So I did. I sold Holland for Ekitike. And, I know Holland just went bananas yesterday, but remember, everybody's been selling Holland for the last 5 days because he hasn't fucking done anything.
I sold Holland the week before for Ekitike.
Yeah.
Which just hasn't worked out, which is maybe a topic of conversation coming up shortly. But yeah.
Yeah, and Ekitike looked great. And then it was just like one of those freak fucking whatevers. Like he got like Charlie horsed and went out like a fucking bitch. But honestly, it was weird.
But as you talk this through, I think I kind of got most of my decisions right. So I went Bruno captain as you did.
Yeah, of course.
And my
everyone did.
My Rice. I'm not sure everyone did, but anyway.
Who else would you have capped? Oh yeah, some people went Harry Wilson, which was like 4 points.
Some people went Ekitike. I did see some people going there.
That would have been brutal.
But so okay, so the Bruno captain was maybe easier. Then I went for the Gordon for replacing Rice, which obviously was the right decision. I had Tarkowski, and I decided I thought he was going to start. Had he not played, I would only had 10 players.
Yeah, so you gamble different. That's a 5-point swing right there because that could take you out
because I would have sold. If I'd done it, I would have sold Tarkowski with someone like Van Dijk, I think, or something like that. Whoever I would have bought would have only got 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
And then I went for Anthony Robinson for Fulham, and he ended up with 1 point. But that was my only. But I'm not sure there was another defender that did well. So I mean, I was going to go for James Hill, and he got a -1 for you. So I was probably quite lucky.
That was pretty brutal. James Hill's been unbelievably good for me. Besides that, so whatever. I saw him. I was at the pool because I'm in Florida, like on my vacation, and my phone went ding, goal, Hill, and I'm like, oh my god. And then it was like, then I saw it was like own goal, and I'm like, oh my god. Because I was like, because
that is harsh. That's harsh when it could have been a goal.
When you have a defender goal, you're like,
yeah,
guaranteed green arrow this week, no matter what, dude. Your defender scores, you're on like a fucking 15-pointer usually.
Yeah.
And yeah. I think he still got. Did he get Seabit?
I'm not sure he did. I think
no, he just had a shitty week, man. He just had a shitty week.
Yeah, it's just how it goes. It's a bit like
Mac T.R. got a fucking 0. I mean, it was pretty. Oh yeah, actually, our teams are pretty different. I got Bumo. Bumo's been a fucking horrible pick now.
He seems to have dropped off since Bruno has gone to number 10.
Yeah.
Bumo has fallen off, and Cunha has been the sort of the number 2 guy there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bumo
I know
sucks.
you had this big debate around Sesko, but Sesko didn't start again. And now I know you were saying you should go for the guy. He doesn't start. If he started, he'd even be in the conversation now that we're about to have. So I guess the big news since then is we've had we've had internationals, so we've had a few people dropping out. So there's quite a few sort of flags around, which makes 32 slightly tricky in terms of how much we know. Liverpool and Arsenal both play Tuesday, Wednesday. So everyone knows there's been the FA Cups. You would have seen that. We've got Arsenal play Tuesday, Liverpool play Wednesday in Champions League. So that'll give a bit more insight into their teams. I do think it makes Liverpool in particular a trickier pick because we saw, if you remember, Ekitike did he not start the other week? Neither did Mo a couple of weeks back. Yeah. Ekitike he got 26 minutes and 7 minutes in the last 2 games. Oh no, he went off injured after 7 minutes against
the stupid dead leg thing.
Oh,
he played in the FA Cup just now. He's fine.
Oh yeah, and the Spurs games before that, he only played 26 minutes. I brought him in for that, and they rested him between the Champions Leagues, and that's just worth just remembering that when we're thinking about Liverpool players for game week 32, where they've got a decent fixture.
Players at all.
Okay.
All right, let's just do this. Let's just do it this way, dude. Is there any scenario where you wouldn't hit wildcard right now?
I shouldn't have hit wildcard, if I'm honest. I genuinely, I think there's a number. So I could have, and maybe it's not worth talking about what I could have done, but I could have sold Alisson for Raya.
He's got to go, yeah.
And then, so my team, and then I could have sold. I had Ekitike, Thiago, and Pedro up front, so I'd have sold Pedro for like Bowen.
Well, wait. Instead of you telling us every player in your team, like,
so
is there a scenario for the general listener right now that why you don't wildcard? Do you need to have 2, 3, 4, 5 free transfers though?
So I have 3 transfers in my hand at the moment.
How many would you need minimum to not hit wildcard right now?
It would have been 2. Right? In the position I was in, depends how you've dead ended your team. So the reason why I think you could, so the strategy where you don't hit wildcard for me is you do a couple of transfers whatever transfers you need this week to get a decent team out. And a lot of teams don't look too bad for this week. That team then looks good enough for 34. You free hit in 33, and then you wildcard in 35 to bench boost in 36. Okay. And the reason why and the players that enable that are
Triple City.
No.
No, because you're free hitting 33, so it doesn't matter
free,
yet.
Yeah.
You need them by 36 for their
So
other
the squads that enable that is if you've sold your City players off. So I only had Semenya. That was the only City player I had. It's for people who have like an Anderson who plays in this week and plays in 34. He's a decent pick. If you still got Fulham players, because Fulham don't have a great fixture this week, so you can bench them. But in 34, they're home to Villa, and Howie Wilson is absolutely on fire at home, which is worth bearing in mind. So you could like a lot of people are Wilson and Anderson, and they're quite good picks. If you've got Ekateke, because they've got Palace at home in 34, Thiago's still a good pick. So if you go through your teams, if you sold your City players,
I did.
I think you can get to 30. I think you can do a couple of transfers, make your team this week look decent. Get 3 Arsenal. I mean, I would have had if I'd bought Raya in, I'd have had Raya, Big Gabs, and Timber. Now, I know Timber's currently injured, but actually, from what I've read, he should be back. And the way White played yesterday. But yeah, if Gabs is injured, then that would be an extra transfer. But I've got 3-4 transfers to get to 34. So I think if you've got a few transfers in hand, I saw like Sandy's team early on questions. I think he could do this.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth looking at. I mean, unfortunately, I pressed wildcard already, so it is what it is.
My team looks okay on paper this week.
Yeah. Could you get to 34? Well, what is your team? Can you show it up on screen? And how many transfers have you got? You've just got one transfer, right?
Yeah. So like my goalkeeper's terrible, right? I mean, it's Dubravka home Brighton or Sanchez home City. Not good. But everything else is fine. I mean, like you said, like Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk and Ekateke both have Fulham at home. Thiago has Everton at home. I've got Bruno and Mbumo Leeds home. Elliot Anderson has Villa home. Rice and Big Gabs have Bournemouth at home. Like my whole team's playing at home.
And well, this is the interesting thing, right? Because you start to look 32. The teams that are good fixtures in 32 are good fixtures in 34 and good fixtures in 36. It's kind of obvious, right? Because you kind of broadly rotate home and away, right? And that's so obviously it's not always quite as clear cut as that, but that's why 32, 34, and 36 kind of link together, which is probably the other strategy you could talk about, which is you wildcard in 32 to avoid a free hit in 34, you free hit in 33, and then you bench boost in 36, and that's kind of where I'm leaning at the moment. And I think you made a good point to me, which the challenge of where things have landed, and perhaps we should do a recap on that in a second, is that the bench boost team in 33 looks very poor on paper in 32, particularly if you can get Bournemouth players. Chelsea play City, Bournemouth are away at Arsenal, and it also means you don't have any Arsenal players home to Bournemouth. And I know Arsenal have tanked in the last 2 games, but I'd like to think we'll be a different beast.
And like you're going to have Bruno Fernandes playing away Chelsea, which let's just in general, the wild card team for bench boosting in 33 has multiple shitty things about it. You've got what you're saying right now. You're probably going to have your triple. You're obviously going to have O'Reilly, Holland, and Semenyo, right? Then you're obviously going to have JP and probably Palmer or, I don't know, Enzo or someone like that. Or
Palmer.
Whatever. So you've got 5 players playing in fucking the Chelsea City match, which is not a good fixture for either of them.
I mean, I think in that scenario,
you're going to have Palmer. Triple Bournemouth with away Arsenal this week. Like this week, horrible fixtures, right? Then the actual bench boost in 33, the only good thing about it is that you're going to have 2 double game week keepers. Because when you look at the 3 players that you're actually going to have on your bench, like you're probably going to want to keep Big Gabs because you're going to lose 0.5 million in them if you sell them. And maybe you almost hope he's fucking injured in this scenario because you're going to want to keep him. He's going to have Chelsea away.
We are not hoping he's injured.
I know. I'm just saying FPL only.
I know. I get you.
Because you're not going to want to sell him just to have a slightly better bench boost, and then we all keep him, and we're like, fuck, we got Big Gabs, like best player in the game. You don't have him now. You got to immediately go get him in. So you're going to have Bruno Fernandes and Big Gabs, who are the 2 best FPL players in the game, pretty much, arguably, I guess. Both have shitty fucking fixtures in that double game week. So in my mind, Big Gabs is one of your bench players because like a double game week Tavernier is probably going to outscore, Gabs away Chelsea.
But the problem is, if you buy Tavernier,
Chelsea or City? Sorry,
no,
City.
Tavernier, Bournemouth, City are away at Chelsea.
Yeah. Sorry, Bruno has away Chelsea, and our Big Gabs is away City in the double game week.
Yeah.
So it's just shitty, and they're both going to be in your team.
The other problem is if you have Tavernier, he's away at Arsenal, so you probably that means you then have to start Palmer, because I was kind of thinking you bet in the scenario that we've not landed in. I was going to bench Palmer, if that makes sense, because in the scenario where West Ham beat Leeds, you would have had a stronger midfield. Anyway, we aren't there.
The other thing is, I can't name a Leeds player I would want. Like when I hit free hit in 33, I don't think I'm going to have a Leeds player in that free hit unless DCL's like played his 90 next week before that.
He's injured too much at the moment.
Honestly, and Stock's the only guy I would have looked at, and he just left the game injured just because he's a CBIT guy.
Well, he's got 6 goals. He's got 4 goals and 6 assists as well.
Yeah.
So that's actually worth looking at. But you're right, he's injured, so that's a problem. So
winning today was bad for the bench boost. Like Bowen and either Diouf or Wan-Bissaka and triple Everton are way more attractive from a bench boost perspective. 33 plus, actually, like these guys are staying in your team if you're wildcarding them in, right? Like, and also you need to now go get triple Palace, because in like 2 more weeks from now they're gonna have a double game week. You're not gonna fucking have any of them, which I then later, when we were messaging last night, said I would almost probably just have Munoz in my team, just because West Ham at home is actually a decent single game week fixture to have.
I'd probably go Richards, actually, because of the CBIT. Cheaper and CBIT, whereas Munoz has got anyway.
So you're gonna have your bench is gonna be single game week Cliff Richards or whatever his fucking name is, single game week Big Gabs away City, and like Tavernier
and Petrovic.
Yeah, you're gonna have one shitty-ish type attacking double game week player, and actually, honestly, it wouldn't even be Tavernier, be Hill or Senesi. It's going to be one of them. They're going to be technically your shittier. Like, you would play Tavernier over Hill, especially away fucking Arsenal's one of their double game week games.
No, it's not. No, that's their game in 32. So maybe it's just worth. So we have 6 teams.
I'll bring up the. Okay,
we have Chelsea. So Chelsea have, while Kev's doing that, so Chelsea have Man United at home and Brighton away. Brighton have Tottenham away and Chelsea at home. We then have Man City, who have got Arsenal at home and Burnley away. And then we have Burnley, who have Forest away and Man City at home. And then finally, we have Leeds. We have Leeds, who have Wolves at home and Bournemouth away.
Those are the best fixtures.
And Bournemouth have, they are the best fixtures. And Bournemouth have Newcastle away and Leeds at home. Now, the other way of looking at this, I was going through it and go, Chelsea, which players from Chelsea would you have on if you could free hit in 33?
Yeah.
Which 3 Chelsea? Number 1 Pedro, number 2 Palmer. Who would your third be?
So I don't actually think everyone can afford Palmer, dude. You and I have way more team value than the average person. And like once you put Palmer in, I think the average person is deciding if they can. Like, I think they're deciding between Palmer and Bruno Fernandes, and I would just keep Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I don't actually think as many people are going to be able to afford Palmer as you think. Like, okay, I have.
If we put a small pin in that,
more team value than you. I mean, I sold Haaland and I sold Semenyo, so I lost like $1 million. So I did lose, or 0.6, sorry. So I have lost some team value, but I do have quite a bit, and it was tough for me to fit Palmer and Bruno in.
Oh, okay. I found it quite straightforward, but maybe I've gone too cheap somewhere else.
I think the only other options are, I do think Enzo's still a pick at 6.5. I know he's being disciplined and all this shit's being said. You're going to miss the Man City game, and then he's going to be back for the double game week. I still think he's the best pick.
That forces you to play Tavernier, but okay, so he could be an option. So
Sanchez is a pick just because I know that other goalie's bad. Just honestly,
issue.
there's no D. There's no D. I mean, Cucurella also fucking said he'd love to play for Real Madrid, and I didn't see him in the lineup.
But he wasn't in exactly. So the problem is, the problem I've got with one thing I would say about Chelsea is they're now out of Champions League, so that there's less sort of distractions from that perspective.
I don't trust Fofana. I don't trust Tosin. I don't trust
any of these
Gusto.
players. But I mean, the philosophy in Chelsea is to rotate the team. I mean, obviously Chalobah would be number one had he wasn't injured, because he was the nailed 100%, defender.
But he's gone.
But I mean, Caicedo's not the same as he was when this new manager. He's not getting the C bit. He's not getting 90 minutes because he would have been on.
And Neto's fucking is like Neto to me is the only other option. But those midfielder spots, I don't want two Chelsea mids in there. Like, you know, because you need to go get Tavernier in your team as well. And I'd rather have Tavernier over Neto. It's $7 million for Neto.
So, but if you play that through, what we're really saying is now whether it's Palmer or another midfielder, you're saying there's two Chelsea, okay? So I think we're saying that we'd probably go for two Chelsea. We'll stop
unless you go Sanchez,
But I wouldn't. So the reason why I wouldn't go Sanchez is Jorgensen's back soon. He's due back.
Should I like build this team while we're talking about it?
Yeah.
So I'll go blank slate here. I'm gonna remove everyone, and I'm gonna include. So
can you put in Palmer?
Yeah.
And can you put in
JP,
Pedro, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Should I leave Bruno in this team while I'm removing?
No, just take it out. We'll come back to single game week players afterwards, because I think as we build this up, it's going to kind of prove a point, I think. So we then have Brighton. I'd have 3 players from Brighton, and I think you have to force your hand. I'd have Bart for Bruggen, because I think he's one of the best keepers here. Because the problem with the goalkeepers,
you would have 3 Brighton.
You
know what? Sorry, I'll shut up. I was all week was playing with Bowen, but now he's out. I think you go Welbeck, right? Yeah.
You've got to go Verbruggen, you've got to go Van Heck, and you've got to go Welbeck. And they do have Burnley away in 32. So they're actually they're actually the positive of it to some extent.
What about I was playing around because none of the midfielders look good, but then when I was clicking through, this Gomez guy has actually been on fire lately. Like 6 points, 4 points, 9 points, and 10 points. And he was playing earlier in the year. And then he played in like an FA Cup or a League Cup game and got 4 goals in that game and then made the team. And he's been one of their main attackers. I think he's someone to put on your radar.
I mean, okay, that's cool. And I think he probably would have been in the team had we had the West Ham there. But yeah, but if we go for the Welbeck for the time being, but open to a different striker when we get there. So that's 3 Brighton. I think you have no choice. Man City, simple. You know who it is. O'Reilly, Semenya, Haaland.
Yeah. The only thing I would say here is, if you're really far back in your mini league, you might want to consider taking Haaland on. Because as crazy as that sounds, Haaland's going to be a captain on weeks that Bruno Fernandes isn't captain here. It's basically going to be Bruno Fernandes every week with the couple of Haaland captain weeks. And I really don't think you're going to be able to make up any room on your mini leaders from this point forward. We're all going to have very similar teams. These 3 City are going to be in every single fucking team in the world. Bruno Fernandes is going to be in every single fucking team in the world. Like those, once you start getting into kind of like the shittier players in FPL, that's going to be your differences. Haaland does have extended periods of time where he blanks and he's in on all our teams. And I think if you're at like Hail Mary time now with being far back in your mini league, that's the biggest Hail Mary there is. You kind of like use that money and take punts. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of great options for you. I would also look at like just doing maybe like a wildly different fucking chip strategy. Like, I don't know what that is, but
I think.
Who else would you use from City if you did take a punt? Is all I guess.
Donnarumma, just because I think the keeper's a really poor choice here because
they're going to double game week later in 36. So having a double game week 36 keeper is actually a huge advantage, and they're going to blank in 33. There's a scenario where you potentially don't free hit. This is probably more for someone free
without a wild card left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, what I would say is, so for me, there are 3. So and I know we're going slight tangent here, but
Yeah.
So to be clear, I think there's three strategies here. There's a strategy where you use your free transfers that you got in hand to field a sensible team in 32 and 34. You free hit in 33, and you wild card in 35, and then you bench boost in 36. That's kind of strategy one.
Do you want to say the downside to that?
I think the downside to that is
bench boost 36 is risky as fuck because players might not play.
Yes. And it's all about how many transfers you've got. So in my scenario, if I can avoid having to make any transfers in 34, which I'd like to, because I'd probably only carry 1-2 City players at most, just to give me a little bit of leeway. I would have, I think, 4 transfers when I get back in 35. So in theory, I'd have 5 transfers to sort a team out for 36. And that gives me a little bit of confidence I can get the extra City player or Crystal Palace player I want to get in. Because in that scenario, you'd have Henderson. You'd carry Henderson through. So you at least got at least 1 Crystal Palace player.
This is if you wildcard now, but you free hit 33. So you've got Arsenal players in, you've got Palace players in.
I've got 3 Arsenal players in. You've probably got 2 Palace. You've got Henderson, maybe at least 1 of the Palace.
Yeah.
You probably have carry 2 City. You may even not carry. The way I do it, I take on Haaland this week away at Chelsea.
You know what? Why don't we do this? Let's build this team, and then let's build that team. Okay, so the downside though, the clear downside to me that I'm worried about with that strategy is just it's time to hit bench boost in 36, and it's like Palace is fucking being beat. Palace is already beached. Who knows who shows up that week? But it's a double game week, so they're probably not hurting you too much. It's going to be more the 3 guys on your bench, like a random Arsenal player or whatever just doesn't play, and you're like, fuck, that's a 0 on my bench booster. Harry Wilson doesn't play because he's injured. Someone gets injured, and you're like, fuck.
You're weighing that up against a poorer against a poorer 32 team.
Definitely. I'm just saying the negative. Yeah, also, it's very unlikely you're going to have 2 double game week keepers because your 3 City are O'Reilly, Semenyo, Haaland, if you're like the rest of us. So I love bench boosting with 2 double game week keepers. Typically, it's not the end of the world. But
that's interesting.
But I think it's a downside to bench boosting in 36 versus bench boosting in 33, because in 33 you're going to have 2 double game week keepers. So I just think that's a shittier thing about it. But there, like you said, maybe you don't have O'Reilly and maybe you don't have Semenyo or Haaland, and instead you go Donnarumma and Henderson, and you do. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So and I suppose I'm looking at it from a slightly different lens because I've got 3 transfers in hand now, which I think is probably more than most do have. And therefore, I probably have a few more options. And I guess the third option, so you got the option where you do the free transfers to get through. You got the option where you wild card, as Kev just talked about, and then we got the option we're doing now, which is you wild card to bench boost in 33. So we should finish this team.
Sorry, what was the third option? First option we just talked about, which is bench boosting in 36, and you don't wild card, or you do wild card now. Yeah. Second option is you wild card now and you bench boost 33 and you free hit 34, which was the plan all along until Arsenal fucking got knocked out, and now it isn't the plan.
And then the other option is you use free transfers to cover 32 and 34. You wild card 35, bench boost 36,
and you free hit 33.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And as I said at the start, I probably could have gone down that route, but I've blown that out of the water because of my.
So we're building a team right now that's wild carding now, bench boosting 33, free hitting 34, and we just finished Brighton. Should we do?
You've done Man City, so City. I think we'll go with
City. Sorry,
we'll go, and then we got Burnley. I would have no Burnley.
I agree. The only player that's even like on the radar from points is Anthony, and he does play 90, and he's got decent XGI actually. But you know,
Forest away, Man City at home is
City,
and Forest away as well.
How do you do against them?
Yeah, but Forest are a decent defensive team.
He scored against City. And he got a 10-pointer against Forest. He got 16 points in the reverse fixture. Look, I don't want this guy in my fucking team. You also need this guy in your team the rest of the season too.
It's a nightmare. He's
right.
a
These
disaster.
guys are all
That guy's a disaster.
staying in your team.
Yeah, I mean,
Welbeck has
yeah.
Burnley this week, which is great, and then he's got the double game week, but he's got Leeds
decent
away, man. They're not as decent as you think, man. Newcastle away, Wolves at home. Remember, not a good fixture anymore. Leeds away, Man United. Those aren't great. I mean, Man United he played for, so he could score in that game. But my point is, like, when
Danny Welbeck does love an injury.
He does, but my point is more this comment that Brighton has really good fixtures. I think that's really highly weighted to the point that they've got Burnley this week, and after that, they're not actually that great.
No, I agree. But I'd also say that Verbruggen has been a decent keeper for people. You've seen it with like David in our team, who's top of our league, who's top there. He's had Verbruggen most of the season. He's been good for him. So I think Verbruggen's a decent keeper, and Van Heck is good at defensive contribution points, which I think is helpful as well. And I think that's why he's a good choice here. So
can I also, before we do the next team, just do this fixture thing with the other teams as well, so we're caught up on that. So sure. Chelsea's fixtures are horrific. Just so you know, you're gonna have three. You're gonna have two.
Okay.
35 Forest home, then it's Liverpool away. Spurs at home is actually a good fixture, and then Sunderland away. So I wouldn't say horrific. I guess they're not great. I mean, you could carry JP through that, no problem. You're probably going to sell Palmer. Yeah. He'll be like your money thing. So that's not a huge deal, I guess. And then City's fixtures, well, it doesn't matter as much because they got another double game week coming up.
But they're good fixtures anyway.
Pretty good.
They've got good fixtures.
And they're playing for the title. So you're going to just want these guys.
But I think after 35, the teams with the best two fixture lists are Arsenal and Man City, ironically. I don't know quite how quite that's worked out. It's a bit odd. And then we have Leeds.
Okay, let's do Leeds. All right.
So the players I liked Stack. I know you said yesterday you didn't like him, but as you said,
no, he's the only player I would have. I just don't like the look of him in my team.
But the fact that Leeds have got Burnley in 35, I think was slightly helpful. And I was happy with Stack. But if he's injured, then that's kind of a problem. I was kind of interested in the goalkeeper, but I'm slightly nervous.
I don't even know he's nailed. I don't think he's nailed.
But Darlow looked nailed, but then Perry played today, didn't in the FA Cup, which worries me slightly.
They got 42 points and 43 points. I don't trust this shit for the rest of the season.
So the only other player I'd look at was Rodon. I mean, that's like a blast in the past.
Fucking hell.
The thing is, they have got the best fixtures.
He gets C-bit once in a while.
Yeah.
He does.
It's not amazing, is it? I mean, Goodmanson dirt cheap. I mean, the thing is, you could scribble this player away on the bench for the rest of the season if you get a dirt cheap player.
But you know what? Burnley home is a good fixture for him. Spurs away. I mean, new manager, probably not the greatest fixture for a Leeds defender. Probably better for a Chelsea player.
You can hide him on the bench most of the weeks anyway. Yeah. So the fact he's got a decent, because Leeds' fixtures are actually decent after 35.
They're okay-ish. You're right.
Which is
Albert Lewin. I would need to know his injury scenario, but you're replacing Danny Welbeck.
But the problem you have here is, I think there's an argument that you have 0 leads.
I think 0 leads is the move.
And then Bournemouth. I think for Bournemouth, then I think you're then forced to have Petrovic because we've struggled to get another double goal because you're not certain the Leeds and the Chelsea keeper are nailed. You don't want to waste the Man City spot on Donnarumma. You don't think Burnley are any good, and well, that's it.
The problem with Petrovic is Bournemouth's defenders are the best C-bit defenders. So, I'd rather have a C-bit monster than Petrovic.
But if you had Hill and Senesi, which is I was looking at, you're then forced to not. You're forced to play the other 3 defenders this week because you don't want Hill and Senesi away at Arsenal. Although arguably, maybe you just play one of them anyway because at least they'll get C-bit away at Arsenal because that's how they're going to play, right?
I don't love them in any week after as well, so you don't really want to have Hill and Senesi the rest of the season.
So I think you go Petrovic. For me, I go Senesi over Hill, but I don't care which one you go.
I would go Hill for the money. He's been way better on C-bit.
And then obviously you go Tavernier, who's on penalties.
So there's still 4 spots open.
This is what I was trying to point. This is the problem. You only take 11 double game week players. I think you then have to. So you've got.
I think who are the musts? I think Bruno and Big Gabs, assuming he's fit, are the 2 musts.
Okay, and I think Elliot Anderson for me. Assuming you have another midfield spot there.
Okay, 1 second. So let me
Because
just
Elliot
add
Anderson
Gabs.
has got Burnley at home in 33, which helps.
Elliot Anderson has Burnley in 33,
at home,
which is the double game week, right?
Which is double game week.
Yeah,
so
he has the best single game week fixture, right?
Yeah. And it's Elliot Anderson who's ticked along. I know he's had a couple of weeks where he's not been quite so good, but he's been ticking along nicely all season. And Forest are fighting for their lives, which helps.
So then I think you have a Palace defender in this scenario because you're going to be fucked when the double game week comes later and you're like, I need to get 3 Palace in. And they have West Ham at home in the single, which is like a good, same with Elliot Anderson. It's the best single game week fixture. And like Munoz or Richards or whatever will actually be helpful for you later. Because you're going to need to use a transfer to get him.
I mean, I looked through it and I was thinking your old mate Lacroix, but I think Richards, because Richards looks the most nailed and he's the cheapest and he's on C-bit.
Yes.
Munoz has dropped off in terms of attacking threat. So for me, it's Richards.
I think he just got hurt for a while.
But if you look at his XGI, it's dropped off. If you find Munoz and look at his XGI, and I mean the XGI is a very slow number, so it's not always a perfect science. But if you look, well, obviously it's not a perfect science.
No.
But if you look at him, I think you'll find that his XGI has been really low.
It's dropped off big time. His last 4 fixtures, well, he didn't play versus Leeds. Was he hurt?
But if you look earlier in the season, he was getting 0.3 and above on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was looking at, and I just and so
but
for me,
I'd still, I don't know either one.
I mean, we're talking about the edges here, right? Whether or not do you go Lacroix or Richards?
I have Munoz in front of me. Let's just say a Palace D, whatever.
That's fine.
Okay. So even with you Munoz, who's way more expensive, that leaves me with 1.6 million in the bank. So yeah, I think what happened was when I was saying earlier that it's tough to fit Palmer and Bruno Fernandes, I've just realized I think a big reason behind that was because I was doing with Bowen, who's 2 million more than Danny Welbeck. So it was making it harder to fit them in. But now that West Ham's out, and you're going to go Welbeck in this scenario, I think most people will be able to fit Palmer and Bruno. So apologies there. But I fucking hate the look at this team. I think it's disgusting.
I cannot forgive you for that.
Yeah. And here's what your bench boost is. Petrovic, which keeper's shittier of the two? Petrovic, Newcastle and Leeds, or Bart, Spurs away and Chelsea? It's your call. Who's on the bench? Who's shittier?
I would put the Brighton keeper on the bench.
Okay, so you got Bart Verbruggen, double game week keeper.
You'd put your
bench is Big Gabs to me. I think he got a 2-pointer against City in the reverse fixture. I think it's 2 points from Big Gabs, hopefully more if he's not fit. I don't know.
I mean, hopefully he's fit, gets a couple of goals from corners, perfect.
Fucking Palace defender is on the bench. West Ham at home, single game week. Yeah. You've got Elliot Anderson on the bench, single game week, and you start
Bruno Fernandes. You
definitely start Bruno Fernandes. I would take Bruno Fernandes in a single game week, Chelsea away versus
and I think
Van Heck for sure, Hill for sure. Like I would take him to outscore them.
So it's quite interesting this team, right? Because you've got 3 players you're not massively jumping up and down for joy with on your bench. 4 players probably that you're not. I mean, Anderson's of those 4, my favorite is Anderson, but I mean, you and I are obviously bigger Anderson fans. So that is, but the other issue.
So wait, just to finish the bench off, Hill or Van Heck. I guess it's the same as Bart and Petrovic. If you went, both of them are C-bit monsters. So you think the better fixtures are the
I'd put Hill on the bench just because in practice I wouldn't play both, if that makes sense.
So just to diversify.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. So your bench boost is Hill playing Newcastle away and Leeds at home.
Okay.
Bart Verbruggen playing Spurs away, Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson playing Burnley at home, and Big Gabs away. It's not horrible. It's not a horrible bench boost. But it's probably better than the 36 bench boost. Just
but the issue now is now look at what's your team this week then, Kev? You've got that set up. Can you
absolutely disgusting?
Can you set me up the team for this week?
So you're probably going to start Bart because he got Burnley away instead of Arsenal away for Petrovic. So
Okay,
Bart's in goal. That's not bad. You're probably going to bench Hill away Arsenal as well. So you're going to go Big Gabs, Bournemouth at home. O'Reilly, you're probably going to play even though it's Chelsea away. Van Heck, Burnley away. And you're probably going to play Munoz or Richards, Newcastle, because it's a home fixture.
Great, yep.
Palmer has a shitty fixture, but you're going to play him all the time if he's in your team. So you're going to have Palmer City at home, Semenyo, Chelsea away. Bruno Fernandes will be your captain like everyone else leads home. Elliot Anderson has Villa home, so I think you play him.
Yep.
Welbeck has Burnley away. You play him. Holland, you play. João Pedro has City home. You play. I think you bench Tavernier, Arsenal away, which would mean you need to bench one of those defenders unless you want to bench Welbeck, Burnley. You're not going to do that. You're not going to bench Holland. You're not going to bench Semenyo. You're not going to bench Palmer. So I actually think you bench Munoz or
O'Reilly.
Yeah, you'd probably. I don't think you'd bench O'Reilly, dude. He's basically playing as an 8. He's getting like that game this weekend when they won the FA Cup versus Liverpool. He would have got a 14-pointer in FPL. So I think.
See, I should discuss when you discuss that team. It's like it doesn't sound so bad, but
right.
the thing that team is missing to some extent is you've only got one Arsenal. Well, there's one. I mean, it seems Big Gabs is fit, right?
Yeah.
But if Big Gabs is fit, at least you got one Arsenal against Bournemouth. Whereas I think, you'd ideally have 3, but even one's not as bad. You have no Liverpool home to Fulham, but you're not fussed about that from my discussion earlier.
They haven't been impressing me. I mean, I can't wait to get Van Dijk out of my team. I think Fulham. I don't think they clean Fulham. Harry Wilson's going to go bananas on them.
And you haven't got any West Ham players home to Wolves. I know you don't think West Ham. You haven't got a Bowen or anything like that.
You don't have any West Ham home to Wolves. Why would that? That's very far from my mind, bro. I don't think anybody has to worry about that. I'm like the EO 0.
And you've only got one Man United home to Leeds, so you don't get any upside of Man United doing better against Leeds.
Bumo's been shit. I mean, I have Bumo. He's shit.
I'm not
too worried about that. We're all gonna have Bruno home Leeds in all the different scenarios, unless you're like thinking about taking him on for some shitty double game week fucking Leeds player. I don't think anyone is.
And then, but at least in that scenario, when you get to 35, you then need to get 2 Arsenal players back in.
And 2 Palace players back in.
2 players back in. So you probably
one of them being a goalie. So you're gonna be making keeper Trent. You're gonna make a fucking.
I think you're making 2 keeper Trents. I think you're getting Raya and the Henderson in because I don't think you can trust the other Arsenal defenders because I mean you could do Big Gabs. You get Timber, and you could try Rice.
And there's gonna be people that are like, I'm not gonna have fucking Richards in my fucking wild card on bench boost week. Are you kidding me? They're gonna have 0 Palace, so they're gonna have to do even more transfers to get to a double game week later, right? So
I mean, I do think there's a world where I could live with 2 Palace in that double because Palace's double is going to be what Man City away or home is it?
Remember, this team is beached as fuck already. They do not care about this league anymore.
And they are still in Europe. We should not forget that they are in Europe.
It's Everton at home. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And City away. I mean, these guys fuck City up. They're like City's fucking kryptonite the last like 5-6 years.
Is there something weird?
Sar's a pick, man. Like I'm getting Sar in, obviously. But anyway, discuss later.
Is there something weird about because they're in Europe? They're in the Europa Conference, aren't they?
Yeah.
Conference.
They're going to be way more focused on that. This manager will not give a fuck about the league anymore.
Yeah, so they play Europa Conference. They must have it this week, actually.
You know what? Look it up. I need a beer.
Yeah, so they have Europa Conference this Thursday, and they have it the Thursday after. So I mentioned.
Find it?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that Arsenal had Arsenal in Europe on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Liverpool are Wednesday, and then Palace are Thursday, and then exactly the same the week after. Although I think Arsenal are Wednesday and Liverpool Arsenal flip. So ahead of this game week starting, well, this game week officially ahead of this game week starting, everyone plays in Europe, and then next
Are
game.
you kidding me? There's more games before FPL starts.
Yeah, it's got Europe this week, and then FPL starts, and then next midweek. So in between those, but the semi-finals of this Europa League are between 34 and 35, and between 35 and 36. So
right before Palace's fucking double game week.
So right before Palace's double game week, they would have played. They would have potentially played 2 legs of semi-final. Obviously, they need to win the quarterfinal. I mean, I'm stating some obvious stuff there.
And they don't give a fuck about the league.
Although the final isn't till, and the final is 3 days after the last Premier League game of the season. So if they were to get to the final, I mean, their last game of the season is away at home to Arsenal anyway. So, but they'll be completely beached if they got to the final, of course.
So then, do you think it's worth not having a Palace player in this wild card and instead having like double game week Leeds defender Rodon?
Maybe. I think you could argue that.
So then at least your bench boost is a little sexier off the tongue.
Yeah, but
and also, what about if Big Gabs is also injured? Would you then, obviously you wouldn't have him, would you then have?
I'd have Timber if who's fit.
You would do that, even though this bench boost is about that. You're about to bench boost in this strategy. Maybe. I don't think you would. I think Big Gabs is different. Big Gabs is like, you got to have Big Gabs because he's fucking
and he'll
probably
get
monster points every week.
He'll probably get DC against City as well. But I mean, Timber might as well. But the thing is, Timber's coming back from injury.
No,
the other issue with the Leeds player is you wouldn't want to play them this week because we talked about earlier. I mean, I guess you have got Richards on the bench, but it gives you a very weak 11. But I mean, the team we've talked about do have 5 players in that Chelsea-Man City game, and I don't love that.
Okay, who? Let's say the only single game week player you're going to have is Bruno. Who else could you even bring in here? And Elliot Anderson. I mean, it's like you're not going to have 2 Leeds defenders. I
think you twist your arm and you take a Chelsea defender. But the problem with that is you're then playing 6 players in the bloody game, Chelsea-Man City game. That's your issue. Okay, well,
yeah. I mean, this is what people got to tinker around with. Okay, I'm gonna remove Big Gabs. Let's just say in this scenario he's injured, right? You got to plan for it. And let's say you're like, I don't want a Palace player because why the fuck would I plan for a double game week in 3 weeks when they aren't even going to give a shit about it? Like, they're going to be more focused on Europe.
We're going to upgrade. So I think Rodon's suddenly in your team.
Yeah.
Oh, which is all. I mean, I think there's a world where
you just do Chelsea D.
I think there's a world where you then find a different keeper. I think
Sanchez.
You're looking at a different keeper, and then you bring Hill and Senesi in.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you then got Hill and Senesi you don't want to play against Arsenal away. I mean, each sort of there's kind of a shadow to each of these moves that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it.
No, I know. I don't love it either.
But one thing I would say about the strategy.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the analogy I gave to you last night when you were messaging me, which is, you know how we both bench boost game week 1 to get over and done with. There was a bit of you bench boost now, at least it's over and done with. You have to faff about with it in 36 because it can distract you. However, I'd like to tinker around with. So I think we've looked at this in enough detail, I would say.
Let's do the next one. But okay, so maybe you just put in Gusto. I don't know. Let's just say for fucking argument's sake. And then your bench boost would technically be like Elliot Anderson is your only single game week on there. You'd have Rodon, then Rodon, Hill, and Anderson, and a double. Yeah, so you'd have fucking pretty good. That would definitely be better on the actual bench boost week. But I
think it makes you even worse in 32.
And you have no Arsenal the reason we're saying you want Arsenal is they've just got really good fixtures the rest of the season, and like they're good FPL players. I mean, so you want them in your team right away.
But I'm weighing this up because if I don't have the thing is we'll also work on the basis we don't need to use any transfers in 33 or 32 when you 33 when we bench boost. But of course we get an injury this weekend.
Yeah.
The other thing is there was enough European. The thing is with Arsenal and Liverpool, Palace, and Villa. They're all playing in Europe this weekend, this midweek and then next midweek. So they've got a greater chance of injuries. I'm trying to state some obvious stuff here. So there is an argument not to have any Arsenal players just in the base. Plus, also, Big Gabs has got some form of injury. Even if he's back and he plays against Sporting on Tuesday, doesn't mean he won't get injured again, because we already said he had a knee problem, which is why he pulled out of Brazil. He now has a knee. Well, sorry,
he had that ice pack on his
injured.
Leg. Yeah,
and we've seen Saliba miss the random game this season. Timber's been out injured. The only player that, I'm not going to say it, but
Raya.
Not as tempt fate, but we haven't. Most of the players have had some form of injuries. The only player, even Rice is out at the moment. Rice and Saka weren't in the squad yesterday.
Right. I actually the team I sent onto I either sent it to you or it was on Slack. My 3 Arsenal were Big Gabs, Raya, and Havertz up front.
I'll go Gyökeres.
I just don't. He just doesn't start. He's like the Man U. He's like Sesko. He's not starting all the time.
I think he'll be starting now. So are you aware what happened? You are aware what happened during the international break with Sweden?
Yeah, he scored a bunch of goals. He scored a bunch of goals when you signed him, and he still didn't fucking start him all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, he hadn't scored for Sweden. He hadn't scored for Sweden in any of the qualifiers.
I remember Havertz was like fucking incredible just before he got injured.
He doesn't look fully fit. He's not, and Havertz is not going to play more than 60, 70 minutes. Gyökeres is the man. If I was going for someone outside, so the obvious players, if they're all fit, is Raya, Big Gabs, Rice. Mm-hmm. Raya, Big Gabs, Rice. I can't remember what I said now. I think Gyökeres is interesting. I was really interested in Eze until he got injured. Obviously, he's no use now. Saka's too expensive, even if you believe
he's
that they're
fucking being shit.
His form is not being good.
He sucks.
He's still going to the World Cup. You seem to think he's not going to go to the World Cup. He's probably starting for England still. He's still.
I never said that. When did I say that?
Oh, that's what I thought. The message you said, he's not going to the World Cup, which surprised me.
I never said that. When did I message you?
I must have misinterpreted your message on Slack. That's fine. Doesn't matter.
I just was saying, where the fuck is he? I don't remember him doing anything significant for months.
He's injured. Right.
I know, but he hasn't been injured for months. He played in the game before the international break for 90 minutes.
So now let's build this team for game week.
He's played the last 5 straight games. Got 1 goal or 2 goals. He actually got a 12-pointer in there. I don't know how. Oh, yeah, because he randomly gets CBET.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so what are we doing? What's the layout? Redo the strategy.
So clear the wild card, and we are now going to building a team that will get us through 34, 32, 34, and then we will bench boost in 36.
So we're going to wild card now. We're going to free hit the free or not.
33.
No, we're going to free hit the 33 where everyone else bench boosts. All these guys are going to be playing in 34.
Yeah.
So obviously right away you're thinking, fuck, well, if you want to have 3 City for 36 later, you got to be careful because they're not going to play in 34. So you can't have anyone else like that. Okay.
Yeah. So
should we start with them?
So I'll start with Arsenal. I think you start with. So I'm starting with Arsenal because we've got Bournemouth at home in 32 and Newcastle at home in 34.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 36, it's West Ham away. And in 35, we've got Fulham at home. And in 37, we've got Burnley at home. So you want 3 Arsenals. You're not faffing about later on. So we will have Raya.
Definitely. Yeah, you're going to bench boost. Sorry, you're going to free hit the one shitty fixture they have, which is City away.
Yeah. So I'll have Raya in goal.
Yeah.
Big Gabs, assuming he's fit.
Yeah. And Rice, assuming he's fit.
Are you going Rice or Gio?
Definitely not going Gio.
Okay, I like Rice.
Let's just assume they're all fit. These are the 3 for the purpose of our pod. If you want to take a punt on Havertz, if you want to take a punt on Gio, go for it. You probably want 3 Arsenal here. There is something to be said about going with, 2 Arsenal. And then because, because you're going to free hit in like a week. So there's going to be like a long period of time where you're wild carding now And like maybe the ideal three Arsenal have changed a few times throughout the year, right? So like maybe like it makes sense to start with 2, and then you're like, you know what, I want to sell so and so now and bring in Havertz or bring in Gio, bring in
maybe. But okay.
They got Bournemouth at home right away though, and then they got Newcastle at home and Fulham at home. You basically have 3 straight Arsenal home fixtures in FPL doing this strategy, like, and they're all decent. Like I already I know I'm doing this. I'm not fucking bringing in fucking Leeds and Bournemouth and Brighton players. Like I already know I'm doing this just based on this.
So West Ham, I know you don't like them. West Ham players, I would get. So West Ham.
What are you talking about?
They've got Everton at home in 34.
Ugh. All I see is red. Remember, Wolves' home is not green. It's not green. Sorry, I know the game says it's green. It's a bad fixture. Wolves are going to fuck West Ham up.
West Ham,
I would bench my West Ham players this week versus Wolves.
I would have Bowen and Diouf is how I would play it.
Okay, well, I disagree. So we're not going to put them in.
Okay.
Right, at the end, if there's like, we'll debate that later, I guess. I'm not starting with these guys. Let's go to City because I think you need them.
I think I would have Semenyo
2 or
O'Reilly.
3.
I'd have Semenyo and O'Reilly.
No. Haaland just fucking got 3 goals. His form's up.
You just said we could take him on.
I'm not fucking last in my mini league. Are you? You're pretty high now.
But in this strategy, we can buy him back in 35, but we don't need him in 34. He's not playing. And it gives you more money.
Okay. So let me just click on their fixtures here. You're right. This week he sucks. And then I am in 34. He's about to skyrocket in price.
I'm buying him in 35. He's not playing in 34.
I know, but everyone's buying him right now. He's going to go up like 3-4 times in price.
Yeah, but then he'll drop in 34 when everyone sells him.
Again. No one's going to sell him. He's going to double game week again in like 2 more weeks.
Yeah, but people on free hit, that will count as a sell as well. I think anyway.
Drop once maybe.
Yeah, but I've got money in Semenyo as well, so it depends where you are.
Fair enough. I mean, I think Semenyo's in anyway. Okay, how about this? For the purpose of this, we're going to go 3 City because technically we can put them all on the bench. The thing that I think is really interesting is the Donnarumma thing because I do love to have 2 double game week keepers because it means your bench boost has a double game week keeper on it in 36, where if you add Henderson and Raya, who does Raya have in 36 actually?
Newcastle at home. So
it's not a bad single game week.
Oh no, in 36. Sorry, 36. Oh, sorry, 36. I thought you said 34. And 36 away at West Ham.
Still not terrible. I mean, it's probably a 6-pointer, maybe a 2-pointer, I guess.
I think there's an interesting thing where you do go. The problem with going Henderson and Donnarumma is you then end up with Henderson away at Liverpool in 34, which isn't amazing.
Yeah.
Because remember, what we're doing here is, remember in this world, one of the issues we have is you might be able to get a decent 32, but if your 34 sucks and the free hitters are going to kill you in 34, then you've kind of like screwed yourself over.
Exactly. Okay, well, what about this then? This is why, Donnarumma to me only makes sense in 36 only. Maybe after that. But like I would probably, if I was going to plan for Donnarumma and Henderson in 36, I would just have 2 City right now because I'm like free hitting in 33 anyway. I mean, what am I taking on here? I don't really care about missing the Chelsea away fixture. Burnley would hurt, and Everton would probably hurt too. Who does Palace have?
But remember, we're free hitting 33. We're not missing Burnley. You're going mad.
I am going mad, aren't I? Sorry. Yeah, they blank in that week.
Yes, this is the whole point of you could get away with no City because you don't want one of the advantages of this strategy is I'd have 0 Chelsea to start off with, to be clear.
Definitely
in my head. And I think you can minimize the players in that game and diversify and try and get some more points in 32. I think you can still get a good team in 34. Personally, I have West Ham players. I know you're not allowing that unless we run out of room at the end. So anyway,
well, I would probably not have O'Reilly then.
I think there's a world where you go Donnarumma and Henderson. But in that world,
I love Raya though for the rest of the season. Besides 36, like
So basically, what we're saying is you're not going to get that double keeper in 36.
Well, no, I think the way to do it is you have 2 City now, and then your transfer from 35 to 36 is Donnarumma.
Oh, Raya to Donnarumma. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
But then the problem then is you then don't have the Arsenal. You don't have Arsenal against Burnley in 37. You end up with 2 Arsenal and Burnley rather than 3. Maybe you pick someone else up instead. It's just a bit faffy. True. Anyway.
Yeah, I would probably just buy another Arsenal player going into 37. I'd buy like Timber then or something. I don't know.
I mean, one thing I do like about the Donnarumma is because you could do Donnarumma, Semenya, Haaland.
No, I wouldn't. I would go Ryan now and then just switch to him later. Unless you go Timber now. I just think all the Arsenal D seem a bit risky all at the same time right now.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I would just go Ryan too. So right now for this purpose, we're gonna stick with the big popular 3 City, but I would play around with maybe just going with maybe once we finally finish this team, we'll look at switching to O'Reilly or Haaland to someone and see what that looks like instead.
Okay.
So we've done Arsenal and City, and we're talking way too long. I only got like 20 minutes left. So what are we doing here?
Right, Man United. Who are you going for?
Bruno and
Cunha.
What about Casemiro? He's getting more points than Cunha, like every week.
Maybe.
He gets CBIT from time to time. His XGI isn't great, but he seems to be outperforming that.
Clear, Man United have got Brentford at home in 34, and in 36 when you bench boost and they're away at Sunderland. So I don't. Yeah. I think they're certainly a team I'd want at least 2 players from. I'd argue to have 3. Yeah. I'd want Bruno,
Liverpool,
Bruno as second midfielder, and I'd probably have a defender. And I don't know who to go for though, because the defenders seem to keep flip flopping. Luke Shaw seems to jump out to me a little bit, but I need to research it a bit more.
That seems aggressive. Triple Man U.
But they are not in any of the competitions. They are purely focused on the Premier League.
I know, you're right.
And they got some decent fixtures.
Well, if you sort by form, it's Shaw. He just never gets. Oh, he's got CBIT the last 2 games, but he hasn't got it at all the rest of the season. That's weird.
And his attacking return, because Dallow's more attacking. But yeah,
Shaw's like 3 points, 4 points. Those are his CBIT games too. 1 point, 1 point, 6, 2.
They
6,
don't keep a lot clean.
1. I would not go for a Man UD. I think the Cunha thing is interesting. His XGI is not better than Casemiro's though. It's weird. He almost got CBIT twice, but he hasn't. Goal and an assist in the last 2 games, and then the last 6 games before that, 1 assist total. I think it's also as bad as Bumo's being, he's being kind of hot and cold. As much as I'm not recommending him on wildcard, but I still think you might consider him. He takes corners. He's nowhere near CBIT. His XGI is falling off a cliff. When I click on Casemiro, though, bro, his XGI is right there with the others. I mean, in some games, he's got 0.67, 0.46, 0.39, 2 goals in his last 3 games. He's got more attacking returns than Cunha.
He's scoring from corners. It's corners where he's very good.
He's in and around CBIT weekly.
And effectively, if Bruno gets an assist, there's a 50% chance it's Casemiro header from a corner.
It's weird.
Seems that way.
Anyway, he's definitely a pick.
Okay,
and he's fucking cheap, man. He's 5'7".
Okay, so
I agree with you. Sesko's minutes are just unfortunately a concern, but he is, when he's playing, scoring. So I think if you want to punt on a Sesko or a Bumo or a Casemiro, I think the 2 popular ones would be Bruno and Cunha. I'm torn on the D. They don't keep cleans. Every D I'm clicking on is just getting 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Dallo for a while had some attacking returns, but he doesn't seem nailed, does he? He doesn't start
No,
every week.
the problem with most defenders don't get many points, which is we're sitting there sort of, and this kind of is why the bench boost with double defenders is better with a bit of C-bit in there, because you might get 6-7 points out of them and you're happy with that and you walk away happy. Right, okay.
So who should I go for? Cunha, just because that's a bit more like flashy for the pod.
Yeah, okay.
If we need to free up money later, we'll make Cunha Casemiro, and I'm not going to do a defender. Is that fair, or do you want me to just throw in Shaw?
No, we can have the defender in the back burner.
Okay.
We can then look at Liverpool Fulham game. So, which Liverpool players would you have? bear in mind, Liverpool have got Palace at home in 34, and in 36, they've got Chelsea at home. So.
I mean, I would have said that fucking backup keeper, but I don't even think Becker or Allison's out the rest of the season, and we got to go Henderson for the other keeper, don't we?
Yeah, so I think you make the problem here is I think Van Dijk's a pick.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Because as fucking much as he's trolled me all year, if I just go to defenders for a second, all of them, and I click on total points, he's 5th. If I click on CBIT, defensive contributions, he's fucking 4th in the league. Like he's actually been chipping away at this shit all year. He's absolutely nailed. And he fucking pops off every once in a while.
Got to pick him. He's got to be picked. The problem I then have is which attacking Liverpool player would you have? Because Mo's too expensive.
Mo's too expensive and like he's like Saka. He's not worth the money. Like
I mean, Wirtz is only just back from injury
and only being good when Salah's out. That's a thing. I think it's a pick.
Is a pick, but has played 33 minutes in the last 2 games, and the problem is 32 is right between these 2 Champions League games, and the last time that happened, he started on the bench.
And all you got to do is fucking lightly touch his leg, and he's a bitch and rolls around and leaves the game. So I don't love that, but I do think it's him. Well, there's also Zobo, who is kind of like not now that Mo's back, he's probably playing more of a CDM. However, he gets CBIT when he does that. So it's not the worst thing. And he's basically taken over for De Bruyne as the best free kicker in the league, hasn't he? I mean, his fucking goals have been gorgeous this year.
Yep.
So, he's taken all the free kicks.
Would you take both? I mean, I think you could have both? Because I think you could take both because...
You mean Zobo and Ekitike?
Yeah, because if you get Sarr later on, it could be you could buy Sarr in for.
I would almost start with Sarr over then, but we can talk about that later. Okay, so let's just add Ekitike for now.
Okay, and then Fulham, Harry Wilson, bench him this week because in 34 he is home to Villa, and in 36 he is home to Bournemouth, and Harry Wilson is a home beast.
Harry Wilson's just a sexy motherfucker, isn't he, dude? I mean, like, I just got him in my team, and I'm so happy with him. I love the guy. Fuck yeah.
So, and there's an argument you have Joaquin Phoenix.
Honestly, I don't even think I would bench him Liverpool away. He played for Liverpool, and Liverpool are fucking terrible. I think he's gonna fucking score.
Okay, I mean, but Harry Wilson's got to be in that. In this strategy, you have to have Harry Wilson because you would have him in a free hit in 34. So everyone's going to have him in 34 free hit. If we don't have him now, you're going to
yeah. And then after, I mean, I bench him in 35 more than anything. And then after that, he's great. It's just 2 home fixtures. Wolves away is not great. Villa home's good.
So I think Joaquin Phoenix as well, probably for the CBIT, because
the fixtures aren't great, but I don't think they're great for anyone.
And at least he gets
Arsenal.
But at least he's a CBIT guy, which I think helps.
So yeah, okay, fine. I mean, running out of time.
Can you put Elliot Anderson in?
Yeah, let me go to Forest.
I know he has got.
No, what do you mean? We're out of spots. We've got Rice, Semenyo, Wilson, Bruno, Cunha.
I haven't got room for Elliot Anderson. Okay, interesting.
So I think in that scenario,
because in 36,
you definitely aren't going Zobo as well. Then because we don't even have him in.
Because in 36, Forest have got Newcastle at home, and he used to play for Newcastle, Elliot Anderson.
It's 1 week though. The rest of the season is
but Andy Anderson's been ticking.
Burnley in 33, but we're gonna bench boost that week, so it doesn't matter. And then that's
hitting.
or free hitting, sorry. And then it's fucking Sunderland away, Chelsea away, Man United away, Bournemouth and Newcastle home. Like, I don't think we need Elliot Anderson. I love Elliot Anderson, but like they probably have the worst fixtures out of everyone.
Okay.
Fine. And like, I'm not taking out Wilson or Cunha / Casemiro for him.
Do you want any Villa players?
Well, the only one worth getting is Rodgers. The defenders are terrible.
The only reason why I'm half tempted by a Villa player, and I know we haven't got room for Rodgers, is they've got Burnley away in 36. They got Fulham away in 34, which isn't amazing, but it's not horrendous. And this week, Forest away. They're all away games. That's the problem with it.
But they've had, every single time they've had a green patch of fixtures, they've underperformed dramatically. Where the people that have like Villa players in their team are just dropping in rank and like, get fucking Rodgers and Watkins out of my team all year. Like, there's basically like 2 games where Rodgers had fucking 15 points in each of them. Ian seemed to have him in his team and fucking flew up, but like no one else had him. And then everybody chased that, and he was terrible for like 8 weeks. And he doesn't get bonus, and he's another midfielder, and we don't have a room for a midfielder. Watkins is way too, underperforming, and their defenders are all terrible for CBIT, all of them. And we can't get Martinez in because we got to go at Henderson next. I think the player that's missing here is Sarr for Palace. I think he should be. Can we go to Palace just for a second? Because we got to put Henderson in anyway.
Is there a world where you have Sarr and Richards in? And the reason why I'd say that is because
running low on D.
You bench Richards in 34. If you've only got 2 City, you can bench Richards in 34 when he's got Liverpool away. So he's your first bench, but it gives you a bit of coverage.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you've got your 3 Palace already. So you're not faffing about when you get to 36. You've got 3 Palace, you've got 2 City, you're quite well set up.
Well, I also think the biggest strength of this strategy is you don't need to be using transfers on Arsenal and Palace. So I think you need at least 2 of them. I still prefer Munoz. I'm going to go Munoz. You go Richards, whatever. Munoz is sexier for the pod. Although, you know what? We have nowhere near enough money for a third forward. I'm going to go Richards. We're going to need to free some money up here. We're at 3 points.
It's good you go on Cunha. You have to go Casemiro.
Yeah, we'll go Casemiro.
And that's because when I was playing about this, what I did was I didn't bother having Haaland, and I was looking at like
you didn't have Rice, probably had Gio, which would have been worse for money, but you would have then had Elliot Anderson in as your other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we got $6 million for a third forward.
See, I'd go Bowen. I know you can't quite afford
7.6. Yeah, 1.6. We're not going to be able to free that up. I mean, let's get rid of the big money guys are Van Dijk. That's it. Ekitike, Bowen. Bowen's too expensive for this game.
When I was playing about with this, I was looking at Juff and Bowen because I like their fixtures in 32 and 34. I know you don't like the Wolves fixture, but
they have one. Wolves is not a good fixture, so they've got Leeds home 38, which Bowen just blanked in. We just watched the FA Cup. He didn't get a return on that. Hit the post a few times, and then he's got Everton home. Honestly, they've got terrible fixtures, Chris. Brentford away, Arsenal home, Newcastle away. It's not great. I think you're like a little overly worried about when everyone else is going to free hit. They're all going to have Bowen in their free hit or something. But look, let's just say 6 million. What other? Just for time wise, people get the idea now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. Strand Larson is 6-1, but honestly, Mateta's back now. I don't even trust either of their minutes. I think they're both a problem.
Yeah. I think they're more likely to rotate. The reason, in some ways, the double Palace D is almost the way because they're less likely to rotate alongside Europe, whereas your attackers are more likely to get some sort of rest in 36. So, Kev. Yeah. Okay, we played through these scenarios. The 3, and obviously the third scenario is you just sort of could you only have one transfer, so you'd only have 2 transfers to get to 34. Could you make that work, or was that just off the table for you?
I don't have. What do you mean? Right now, if I just didn't wildcard?
Yeah, could you get to?
I just click pick team, so that wildcard, that tinkering is now gone. So I mean, my team looks really good right now. It looks almost. I mean, I probably actually put. Yeah, like I have a benching dilemma, like Tarkowski, Brentford away. Or
okay, so you could play this week, free hit 33. Then you could have 2 transfers in 34 to sort a team out, and then wildcard in 35.
Yeah, I guess I should probably go that way. I would almost want to. I would almost want to use a transfer though right now to. I have 7.6 million in the bank. You know what I would do with that transfer? I would probably change one of my keepers to Raya just to have him now.
Yeah,
because my keepers are bad, like Sanchez and Dubravka.
That's the way to do it. But in this scenario, how many Man City players you got? 0.
0, which isn't the end of the world for now. I've got JP, who, can I just mention, you know, in that scenario, we didn't have any Chelsea because their fixtures are bad and whatever, and we're gonna free hit in their double game week 33 and right, but their fixtures are fucking quite bad, except for Tottenham at home in 37.
I thought they had a good fixture in 35.
Forest at home as well, yeah. But Forest are decent defensively. Anyway, we're obviously going to be taking JP on in that situation. So, yeah, maybe I don't wildcard. Maybe I just get Ray in, and
that's what I wish I'd done. Honestly, I'm Saturday because
I don't understand why you did wildcard, because like no prices are moving or anything.
I don't know either. No,
whatever. You've got 5 frees or whatever. You're fucking.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, I can probably whatever strategy I go with, I'll have 4. Hopefully, I have 4 frees and I get to 35, and I can navigate to it. I think as we go through this, I don't like any. I don't like either. Honestly, either options.
Both strategies are ugly.
Yeah.
I think you, with your 4 frees, are probably in a position where you could just get the bench boost out of the way and then fucking get some of those players out of there. And it's a better bench boost. It is. You're going to get more points bench boosting in 33 and free hitting 34 than you're going to get bench boosting in 36.
It's the disappointment of the team I'm going to put out for 32. That's the only thing that's holding me back on it. That's what's holding me back, is the poor quality of the team I've got for 32.
Well, then maybe you do Donnarumma, not O'Reilly or not, and then you don't have to put one of them out at least, and you're a little different. O'Reilly looks like a really good pick right now, though.
Yeah, I think there's,
before I make my decision, I need to know Big Gabs and Rice's health, because if they're both injured, that kind of changes things for me.
You'll have a better idea on Tuesday when we've got our games. So that'll obviously give you a good indication of what's going on.
Because then all of a sudden I'm looking at my team like, fuck. It's not like, you know, Rice and Big Gabs, both home Bournemouth, make this week look a lot better. Like I think attacking this week with the better fixtures sounds better, but I've also had weeks with great fixtures where I don't do well. You know, it's just a stinker. And I think now everyone's going to crush me on this big bench boost that I'm.
But the problem, as you talk this through, the problem with the bench boost is 5 players in the same game. It's just not great, is it?
No.
I think as I weigh it up, I do think the better strategy is not to bench boost in 33. If you weigh it all up,
I think that's, and I think I mentioned it a bit like when the game was live. I think if West Ham had won, it would have been better, but because Leeds won, there's just not enough sexy players. Like West Ham won, it's like Bowen, maybe a West Ham D or a West Ham keeper. I don't know.
Got
Triple Everton, yeah.
But that didn't happen. So that's not where we are.
I know, and Arsenal, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the one that killed it, right? Obviously, that changes it all. That's what put it. That's what put it at the sort of this tipping point, and then as you say, arguably Leeds winning sort of knocked over the tipping point in terms of against it. So I feel now that I've messed up, I think I need to go down the strategy. The thing is, I can maybe be a bit more aggressive for try and get a good team for 34, because if I've got 4 transfers in hand when I get to 35.
Yeah,
I basically got 5 transfers to sort out a bench boost in 36. So I can probably make the strategy work. It's less optimal than probably had I just used my transfers to get there, but it is what it is.
So you're saying that you would have like not go with Holland and start with Bowen because you really like their fixture this week, and then
get Holland back. Yeah,
switch Bowen to Holland.
I'd use 3 of my 5 transfers I have. I'd use 3, 4 of them to get, because the other thing is, by the time I get to that team, I've got I have 3 Arsenal, I have 3 Man City. I'll still have Bruno Fernandes. I'll probably have like Acuna in there or something like that. And you go, okay, hang on a second. This is maybe I couldn't quite. Perhaps I've sold Acuna. I haven't quite worked it through, but
right.
But I still think you've got a decent team on paper.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I'd set it up so I could probably get away with 3 transfers. So I've still got a couple of transfers to play about with afterwards or something like that if I can. But obviously things can go wrong. I don't love it, but I don't. What we haven't talked about is what does a free hit team look like in 33?
In 33? That's a good question. Maybe we could do that next pod because of time, but also like
we won't have time because it's Friday deadline. We're not going to get a chance to pod again, but that's fine. I just think the thing I need to work through.
Okay, so this week, Friday deadline.
It's Friday.
Yeah, and then there's a week before 33 happens.
Oh yeah, I get that. No, but my point being, you need to know does a free hit team look okay to make the strategy work? It probably does.
Oh, it's going to be unreal because you're not going to have Bruno in there and Big Gabs in there. It's going to be better. Like as much as you're going to have, Bruno not on your bench on bench boost. I'm definitely not going to have Bruno in my free hit. I'm going to have like the best. I'm going to have like Palmer and, blah, blah. Well,
I think
we'll see. Maybe I have Bruno in it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, early on, we basically came with 11 players we liked in the bench boost, and that's probably your team in your free hit.
It's true. It's true. I probably will have Bruno in there because it's such an ugly fucking double game week. Oh, the double game weeks are bad.
Yeah. I really have messed up by pressing that wild card. So
you might have done it still. I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, there's still injuries that could happen here. And again, if Big Gabs is out.
I think that's massive what happens with Big Gabs.
Exactly.
That does change the strategy one way or the other because suddenly, actually, next week suddenly looks a bit more attractive because if Big Gabs is out, I don't fancy our chance of keeping a clean sheet.
Big Gabs is out, I would consider doing what you've done and bench boosting, and then because the biggest attractiveness of keeping this team that I have, or wild carding and loading it with, free hitting 33 in the big double, is because I want Arsenal players. And if Big Gabs is out and if Rice is out, it's like I don't even know which 3 Arsenal to get. So I might as well give myself some time, get this fucking bench boost over with, and then just use, transfers, roll them and use them for Arsenal players right away. And maybe, but I would be more fucked than you because you've got those frees. You could just get Arsenal and Palace players in. I can't. So me wildcarding and then bench boosting in 33 is really unattractive for me with no free transfers because immediately once that double game week ends and I'm free hitting in 34, now all of a sudden it's 35 and I'm like, I would really love to have a bunch of Arsenal and Palace players right now and I have 1 free. Or
you
maybe
might
2.
You should hopefully have 2 by then.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I sold Holland to get Ekateke because of that fucking Tarkowski thing. That free transfer is big right now, right?
Yeah.
So I really hope Big Gabs isn't injured, obviously you don't either as an Arsenal fan, but for FPL purposes, I really hope he isn't. And I really hope Rice is not injured. And I could just keep this team and then, free hit at 33.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
Like, I would just basically have Hill. Who wouldn't play in my team in 34? Hill? That's it? Oh, JP and Sanchez, who I'm changing to Ray anyway.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'd be fine. So I really hope Big Gabs and Rice's injury situation is really fucking big for chip strategy. It's a good way to end the pod, man.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
I'm down to. I can only do 2 of the 3 options we talked about earlier on. Let's see where I land. I don't know where I'm going to land. Who knows?
I think you'll end up bench boosting because you've got the freeze to deal with it after. I think you should.
I just hate the Chelsea Man City match.
I know it's a big deal, but Semenyo and JP can both score in any game.
It's more the Tavernier thing that just makes you play Palmer. Maybe I can get to a world where I can play 4 defenders and bench. I know it sounds mad to bench Palmer. I mean, maybe Man City Chelsea becomes a 4-all thriller.
Came from City though, like that's the kind of game that players score in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and also you got to understand, like most people are gonna have, like a lot of people are gonna have these guys in their team now. They're all probably wild carding. So
I guess the flip to it is if you go down the route where you avoid the Chelsea and have a lighter load of Man City players, and that Man City Chelsea game is 4-all. I know it probably won't be.
Yeah, you're flying.
Suddenly, all those players would have got points, just not in a defensive way. That makes sense. If it's a 4-all game, suddenly JP, Palmer, Haaland, Semenyo, O'Reilly have probably all got 10 points each.
JP, Haaland, and Semenyo, and probably O'Reilly as well, are all going to be pretty highly owned.
The thing is, the Chelsea defense is crap, isn't it?
Yeah, but nobody's going to pick them. I wouldn't even pick them if I was wildcarding and bench boosting.
I'm thinking more that City could absolutely destroy them. They just got 4 past Liverpool as well.
They are definitely confident, and you guys losing is probably going to help their confidence.
And they're out in Europe, and they're just going to focus on this, aren't they? So there is an argument. You just get 3 City, whatever your strategy is, as you're talking this through.
Yeah, I think you're basically just going to debate if you bench Palmer or not.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think you will end up bench boosting in 33 because you've got the extras. You could just immediately get Arsenal and Palace right after if you want, or Arsenal right away and Palace later.
And I think in the strategy you keep the 1 Palace anyway, as you said, because the bench is so rubbish, isn't it? It's not getting Leeds players. I mean, I prefer a Palace player over a Leeds defender.
I'd rather have Munoz or Richards over Rodin, and then also that saves you a transfer later for probably potentially a 2-point difference.
That part of my transfer strategy is going to be buying Raya, but selling both my goalkeepers. But it's part of the game, isn't it?
Could be. I think you.
But actually,
you should consider this. O'Reilly 2 City. No, sorry. Never mind. No, you should definitely have O'Reilly.
You were saying the Donnarumma example, right, where I'm free hitting in 33. Yeah, I think you're right. Just get the bench. I mean, the reason why I got to yesterday was you're going to bench boost, get it over and done with.
Exactly.
Maybe I stick with that. I've got enough transfers to then sort out.
You're at an advantage with those frees. You will definitely have a better bench boost score in 33 than in 36.
And of course, in 34, I can then just I can get Mo if I want. If I want to go Mo and Ekateke and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where that idea came from, but sure. You can do whatever you want. You have a huge advantage with those frees.
No, I'm just thinking because in the strategy where you don't free hit in 34, you are losing points there. It's that plus it's really hard to know, right, where you're losing and winning and losing.
The strategy is like, okay, yeah, you did great in this 1 week, but like you also lost a bit in this week, and you got to fucking mentally keep track of all that to know if you did well or not. And this happens every year.
Yeah, and right, okay, I know you got stuff to do. Plus, it's quite late here, so I should
just go to bed. Bro.
Right,
Easter Bunny's still coming. Oh no, I guess he came already. Or she. I don't know. All right.
Well, I mean,
laying eggs, probably a she.
Well, I won't tell you about the story when the Easter Bunny, when one of our rabbits died, and Steph told the kids the Easter Bunny ran away with the rabbit. So next year, the kids were terrified the Easter Bunny was going to take the last rabbit, which is how they were scared of the Easter rabbit.
Stealing your pets.
Yes. Well, anyway, that is a good note to stop it. Right. Okay. Catch you later, man.
Buddy. Talk to you later.